What is up, YouTube? So for some reason this artist, well, not him specifically, but every request that I've got from this guy seems to be guys posting it without the timestamp. But I figured because I have so much respect for this artist, I'm going to kind of try and create a tutorial about how he does a lot of his sounds and that kind of stuff. Because I've kind of been getting a lot of requests to do sort of more the sort of nighttime, darker, sort of more psychedelic stuff anyway. So yeah, like I said, because I'm such a fan of this guy's stuff, I kind of know a lot of his work and I know how to do a lot of the similar type of sounds that he uses. The reason I've held off from saying his name till this point in the video is it's one of those names which I'm probably going to get crucified for pronouncing wrong again. This is how to make that Ajja sound, or Aya, or Ajja, or whatever. This is how to make that sound. So I actually created two sounds for this tutorial, but they both use a little technique that I've noticed used quite often with this type of thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to first show you the technique on a sort of basic sound, on a sort of just basic saw wave or something like that. So let's open Serum and let's just leave it on init and trigger a long saw wave. So the bass line I wrote was on B, so that's what we're going to go with here. Okay, so the idea is to create a sort of gated effect, and you can hear it used quite often in the sort of nighttime stuff. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use LFO tool for this. Reason being is you've got this little number over here. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to switch between different LFO shapes that you've set up. And I've never actually seen much guys use this before. So the chances are they're probably using a different sort of gate sequencer or a different plugin or different sort of MIDI patterns or something like this. However, that being said, I really enjoy the way this is a kind of hands-on experience, and I'll kind of show you why. So what we want to do is we want to set the snap to 16, and then if we hold shift, it allows you to draw in blocks like this. So let's just draw in a couple of patterns. Bear in mind to keep the kind of beat sort of on the 16th. Okay, we're going to want to change the rate to like 1/2, I think. We're going to want to leave every second one off like this. So what I like to do is just first create like a sort of standard gate pattern like this, and then we can actually copy it to the number 2 and, you know, all the way across and create little variations of that. And then we also just want to set this volume to 100%. So now what we can do is we can actually click this copy over here and click number 2 and then paste this. And then what we want to do is we just want to swipe a couple of these up randomly like this, just to create some variations. Let's go to number 3, paste, and just like create a couple of random variations like this. Okay, 6 should be enough. So now what we can do is let's listen to it while we switch through these 6 presets that we've created here of the different LFO gate shapes. Pretty cool, hey? So that's the basis of the sort of gate pattern technique. So let's create an interesting lead sound or interesting synth sound to complement that. So let's go over to our Serum over here and let's just select basic shapes. Here's a little trick I may have or may not have mentioned previously, but if you go morph crossfade, it allows you to create sort of like infinite basic shapes to sort of mix between. So it's a way of getting like variations and stuff of the basic shapes. But that's not too important for the sound. I figured I'd just mention it. And we're going to set up an FM from B, and let's go with this I Can Has Kick. It's actually a waveform that's built into Serum that I'd never used before for some reason. I think it's because the default is on this like flat line. I'd always figured what was that for? And then somebody told me to check it out, or I'd seen it in one of their presets. And yeah, it turns out to be flippin' awesome, specifically with FM sounds. So what I've done here is I actually just want to turn this random down, random phase, turn FM from B to like around 50% or so, wavetable position of oscillator B to like around there, and then we turn the level down of oscillator B. Cool, let's listen to the sound now. Cool, so that's pretty cool, like on its own, just, you know, sort of tweaking that FM from B sound. But we don't want to sit there sort of tweaking that thing the whole time. what we can do is let's set up a chaos oscillator. So let's go to global, chaos number 1. Let's turn all of these on, BPM sync, mono, and sample and hold. And let's turn this over to, I think 1/8 should work for the sound. And then let's go over to the matrix and set chaos oscillator number 1, destination to FM, which is the A warp, like that. And let's have a listen to this. I also turned the octave of oscillator 1 to +1. And okay, so let's head back over to LFO tool over here. And now while it's playing, we can actually switch through these presets here and, you know, create some like various sort of random gate pattern type stuff. So obviously that needs like some like reverbs and delays and stuff like that, and maybe some like filters and stuff. However, I'm going to show you guys a little trick that I like to use quite often. And I think I've showed this before, but just to kind of drill it down. So the idea is to set up a group channel. So let's go over here, right click here, add group channel to Serum. Let's just call it group 1, whatever. I named it group 1, it would have automatically named it, but so be it. Now what we can do is we can go audio track, audio, and we can actually set this input over here to group 1. And we can record audio live that's happening in that group. So what it allows us to do is hit record and play with those gate patterns and, you know, create like a sort of audio clip, which we can then go and chop up. If that doesn't make sense, I'll show you quickly what I'm talking about. Okay, so I've recorded out quite a long chunk of that. We can mute the Serum channel now. Oh, no, not that. And yeah, that should be long enough. And let's listen to what I've created. So now what we can do is we can actually slap some delay on this channel. And it's going to instantly sound like 100 times better. Just do a quick vibe like this. Okay, so what I like to do now is let's just, for example, hold Alt and chop with the scissors. Hold Alt and chop with the scissors, and what that's going to do is it's going to chop our sort of audio clip into a bunch of different parts. And now we can actually just move it along. Now we're creating chunks with a bit of delay tail. And if you hold if you hold Shift, and it allows you to like deselect each one as you go. So you can kind of create a vibe like this. And let's listen to how that sounds. So I never really leave them as sort of even square chunks like that. I'll usually like extend one a little bit and, you know, maybe reduce one a little bit to create like variations and stuff. But just for the ease of this tutorial, I'm going to leave it as is because I don't want to like kind of blabber on too long about easy stuff like that. So what I'm going to do quickly is I'm going to save that preset here. So you guys can, so my Patreons can grab that. Super simple, but I'm just going to save it anyway. I'm just going to call this Ajja FM Layer 1. A big thanks to IDM Mag, proud supporters of the dance music scene and my channel.